All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. It's week 13 of the season, and we're firing up our official picks and predictions for the top 10 games on the slate. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and for better or for worse, I've got my largest card of the season already locked in. This is always one of my favorite Saturdays of the year just because it's before things get a little weird in rivalry week and bowl season, and we now have over 3 months worth of data to pull from. Someone who's always deep in those numbers is my partner in crime, Scott Big Time Bogman. Boggs, how are you, and how are you feeling about the slate coming up? Are you as excited as I am?
I don't know if I'm excited as you are, but I do have pretty good feelings about a lot of these games that we're going to talk about today. I feel pretty good about Texas, even though it hasn't looked great recently. Sure. And Arkansas has stuck to their SEC opponents very well this year, but I feel good about that. So we're doing okay. You know, feel less positive about our Steelers than I do about this college football weekend.
Sure. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers, though, right?
That's right. Yeah, we'll take what we can get.
And as always, shout out to all the ball knowers who are tuning in either on the BP YouTube channel or the audio feed. The easiest free way to support us, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a moment of college football and NFL betting coverage this winter. And before we get to the game previews, followed by our best bets, let's take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Whether you're into NFL football, college football, NBA, college hoops, and hockey, you can get in on all the action on Hard Rock Bet. Sign up today and you could score $150 in bonus bets. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you not only get your winnings, but also $150 in bonus bets. Not sure where to place your first bet? Head over to Hard Rock Bet on the Stats Hub, and it'll help you out. It's loaded with trends, streaks, and stats to help guide your picks. Numbers don't lie, and neither does the data in there. Check out the Stats Hub now. Get the edge and bet with confidence. The Hard Rock Sportsbook app is available in the state of Florida, and also if you're in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, coming to more states very soon. Plus, Hard Rock Bet now also offers promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just fire up the app and check out what they've got there for you any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app now and make your first deposit. Let's jump in with 2 feet and start in Columbus, Ohio. The books have now come to a consensus with the top-ranked and undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes now listed as 31.5-point favorites against the 5-5 Rutgers Scarlett Knights. Rutgers right now, they have questionable edge Jordan Walker, and there's nose tackle Derek DeHone. OSU right now, a couple big question marks for them at the wide receiver position. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, both questionable, as are some depth players on the defense. BP projections right now, we have this right around 31 points exactly, so I'm not going to lay this big of a number. Will you, Bogman?
No, I think the line moved the wrong way for us to get on board with Ohio State. Like I said, I would have preferred this to drop below 4 touchdowns to like 27.5, something like that. It was 30.5 when we checked in. It was originally 33.5. 30.5 when we checked in. I thought, look, if this gets this to 28, then maybe we can alt it down to 27 or something. 27.5, 28.5, obviously. But it didn't. It went the wrong way. I think this is just clear look-ahead spot for Ohio State. You mentioned Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate being questionable. So, you know, if they get up, do they pull them? We saw Ohio State let Purdue score a late touchdown last week as well. I just cannot get on board with this big a number. So I would lean towards Rutgers with this many points, but I probably won't have any cash on this one.
Yep, I agree with you. I actually really like Rutgers, right? I like the running back Antoine Raymond. He has over 1,000 rushing yards this season. I like the receiving core too. DJ Duff, Ian Strong, DT Sheffield. They've been a pretty nice combination out there for the Rutgers. It's not like your grandpa's Rutgers team. I always remember, Rutgers growing up, they would get you in dog fights, and that's how, if they were ever going to win, that's usually how they would do it. This isn't that type of team. I just don't think there's anything I really want a part of this game, specifically with those wide receivers. Like, do they even play him? Or if they play him, like, is it much? Because they got a much bigger opponent next week. And then, of course, the playoffs coming up, man.
Yeah. I can't trust it. It's the look ahead, and 2 of their best offensive weapons are questionable. So just pass on that one for me.
The spread has shrunk in Norman with the number 8 Oklahoma Sooners, now just over a touchdown favorite against the number 23 Missouri Tigers. What was originally thought to be a season-ending injury for Mizzou quarterback Bo Pribula, it is not. He is questionable to play on Saturday. OU right now, they have questionable RB3 Javonte Barnes, Gentry Williams, and some of the defense is too deep. BP projections right now, we're showing some value on the Tigers, putting this game right at 6 points. Is that the way you're leaning as well, Boggs?
I like the under here. I think Missouri has played one of the cushiest schedules in the SEC. This will only be their third true road game, right? Kansas was the neutral site. And I hated what we saw on the field from them when they were on the road. Auburn held them to 17 points until overtime. Vanderbilt held them to 10. They only completed 8 passes last week against Mississippi State in that dismantling of them. So, and that ain't going to fly against Oklahoma. However, the Tigers' defense has been outstanding this season. They won the Auburn game and only allowed 17 in that game. They only allowed 17 to Vandy at home as well. And the longer I look at this, I don't really care who the quarterback for Missouri is. I just don't think I can trust the road Tigers and the defense, in the defense for Oklahoma that has been outstanding. Oklahoma is looking better on offense, but they're still not outstanding. So I like the under. This feels like a 21-17, a 24-13 type of game to me. Missouri can only run right now. OU stops the run.
Yeah,
but Missouri, they're going to try to control the clock and run. I just don't know that is going to work against Oklahoma. So I'll pick the under here. Leaning, I guess it would be towards Missouri because I just don't like this spread that much. I would like it to be 3.5, 2.5, something like that. I think this might be a field goal game, but I'm not putting money on Missouri right now with the quarterback questions and the quarterback play that they've had being one-dimensional on offense and OU being at home and that O-line for Missouri really not looking good on the road. So, I like the under in this game.
Yeah, I think that is the right play in this one. Specifically because I think if anyone can slow down Hardy, it's got to be the Sooners, right? Top 4 in rushing defense. So I would think that would definitely slow this down. John Mateer hasn't looked the same since that thumb surgery, really. And I've actually seen a couple of these projection models, including one of CBS's, Boggs, that actually has OU losing one of these last 2 games specifically because the offense has been so bad, right? So I think that could catch up with them somewhere, but I don't.
It could. Missouri is a very good team, right? So Missouri could win this game, specifically if you keep it low scoring, right? It's just a couple big plays at that point. But I just don't. I think Mateer's looking better the further away from thumb surgery he gets, and they obviously have the horses on offense to do it. So I'm not trusting Missouri on the road. That's kind of what it boils down to. Look, I would love to see Oklahoma lose. Don't get me wrong. Any week that Oklahoma loses, I'm usually for it. So, but
I don't think they're going to lose. I'm just saying. I think if anything holds them back this season, it's the offense.
For sure, the defense has been outstanding. Our Mason Thomas is a killer.
Oh yeah,
line man, that defense is really good.
Guys, make sure you're tracking your bets, staying accountable, and leveling up by downloading the free BettingPros app today. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in just one simple spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users, you can score yourself 6 months of BP Premium on the house for free with your first deposit and wager at any of our partner sportsbooks, including Hard Rock Bet. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. We have no line movement in Harrisonburg, Virginia, with the 21st ranked and Sunbelt leading James Madison Dukes still 13.5 to 14.5 point favorites against the 5-5 Washington State Cougars. Both teams should be at or near full health, and the BP projections are right in line with the books. What do you think about this game, Boggs?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be on the Washington State side, which is massively fading the public because we're up over 90% of both tickets and cash on James Madison here. So
really,
yeah, I mean, it is very much in their favor. So, I'm going to take Washington State, but I'm going to wait. It's already 14.5. I think it's going to get out to 15.5 or 16.5 at some point here because just the money is pouring in on James Madison. But they did a very good job against Louisville's offense in the only tough game that they played. But they were handled by the Cardinals defense. And I think that's what we might have here. James Madison is very strong in the run game, but Washington State has also been very strong against the run. They have continuously played up and down to competition since the defense took over in week 5. We talked about that on Monday. Like, they did let up Washington and North Texas both score 59, but since then they have really buckled down. They're 3-3 in that stretch after those games, with each win coming by at least 17 points or more. And then the losses, Ole Miss, UVA, Oregon State, all by 3 points or less. Right. And those are all road games as well for Washington State. So Toledo was thumped by Washington State. That's one of your better G5 schools. Right. And that game was 28-7. So Washington State has played with intensity on the road. They need one more win to get a bowl. They're pretty desperate here. So I'm going to take Wazoo with the points here. And I think 14.5 is a great number, but I think you can wait. I feel fine at 14.5, but I think you can wait and make this number better, because I just think it's going to keep sliding a little bit towards James Madison, because I think it was 13.5 at most books. You could get a 14.5. Now it's 14.5 at most books. You can get a 13.5. So I think it's going to continue to move out that way.
I think you're actually on the right side of this one, because as you mentioned, Wazoo's kind of been the G5 killer. San Diego State probably going to win the Mountain West this season. They were beat by Wazoo all the way back in week 1, 36-13, or week 2, excuse me. And then also right after that, Toledo, they go up against Toledo, who's the MAC favorite. So
it's a good defensive team.
Yeah.
Well, now that they fixed it, after Washington and North Texas, those were ugly.
Yeah,
but they really have seemed to fix that defense. So I think it's going to be low scoring, scrappy, gross game.
Yeah. Okay. And the key number of 9.5 is still being offered in Eugene in favor of the number 6 Oregon Ducks against the number 16 USC Trojans. USC, they have RB1 Waymond Jordan doubtful, and their center John Reed, he is also questionable. The Ducks leading wide receiver Decorian Moore, their slot wide receiver Gary Bryant Jr., and their RB4 Jaden Lamar, and some of the defensive 2D players are questionable. BP projections right now, we are right in line with the odds makers. So, Boggs, this seems like a great game to watch. I'm excited about it. I'm going to be on the sidelines, though. Do you have any action on it?
Not yet, but what I want here is I want this to go down to 7.5, so the alt line is 6.5 isn't disgusting, right? That's kind of how I see this game. And, this has been oscillating like crazy, this line,
back
because
and forth, yeah.
9.5 down to 7.5. Now I believe it's 8.5 at most places. So it's between 8.5 and 9.5 right now. We want this to get down to 7.5. It's not going to get below that, right? I just think it's highly doubtful it gets below a touchdown. But I think the thing that we know about this game is that Oregon is going to score. USC has only played one elite offense this season in Notre Dame, and Notre Dame went for 442 and 34 points. The other really good offense they played was Illinois. Illinois went for 502 and 34 points on them. Michigan State put up 31. Even Purdue scored 17 on USC. So the USC defense is better, but it's always been an issue under Lincoln Riley, and that has not changed very much this season. Oregon is going to score. USC should score, but Oregon's defense is number 1 against the pass. We saw USC struggle against a good coverage group at Nebraska, but their defense showed up for that game, and they won that game. So I think Oregon wins this one. I think they win this one going away, but they do play rival Washington next week, but USC is the tougher matchup. So it's not a look-ahead spot by any means. I know Washington has given Oregon some fits recently, but I don't think they can. You cannot afford to look past USC. You'll get beat that way. So give me the Ducks. But like I said, I'm going to see if it gets to 7.5 so I can alt it to 6.5 without disgusting juice. So 8.5 is fine. I think they win this game by 10 points. So 9.5 even is not a bad bet to me. But I would prefer it to get to under a touchdown just to save any trickiness, because USC's offense is still really good.
Do you think the wide receiver depth will be an issue for Oregon? Does that concern you at all if Bryant Jr. and Moore aren't up?
Nah, I think they're going to run. So
Okay.
The run game has been really good for them recently. You've seen them turn
Whittington's
it
very
up.
efficient. I think he's averaging like 8 yards per carry or something like that.
Yeah, they're 8th in rushing per game right now, 233 yards per game. I don't know if you're going to get that against USC, but I think that helps you control the clock, and it helps more throw the ball as well. So I just feel like Oregon is definitely going to score, and USC can score, but if they're held like Nebraska held them, they're just not going to be able to keep pace with Oregon.
I think it's like the bitter Penn State fan in me that I want to see Oregon lose, and I can see it happening in my head. But at the same time, I think just coming off the Iowa game, that was a tough ball game USC just played. Meanwhile, for Oregon, they were asleep on Saturday, right? They are resting up after really running into a pretty mediocre Minnesota team on Friday night. So I think I would go with the Ducks as well if I had to make a pick in that one.
It's not the best Ducks team we've seen. I think that's what makes it feel weird, right? This is one of the worst Ducks teams we've seen over the last 3 or 4 seasons, but they're still very good. And USC is still, they're better, but they're still one-sided. They're still a primarily offensive team.
I can't wait to bet against Oregon in the CFP. I can't wait. It's going to be great. 9.5 is also still available if you want that number in Nashville in favor of the 12th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores over the 5-5 Kentucky Wildcats. Everyone is up in this one for Vandy. UK, they just have cornerback DJ Walker Jr. and a few players in the defense is too deep, banged up. BP projections, we're right at 10 points. So another game where we're not showing a ton of value either way on the spread. Still, were you able to sniff any out there, Bogs?
Yeah, I have. I continue to question the validity of this Kentucky overperforming stretch, right? Yeah. Texas isn't good. They lost to Georgia worse than Kentucky did, okay? Tennessee's defense sucks, and they were up big in the second half. That's why they allowed Kentucky to score. Auburn and Florida, those were quick games. Auburn clearly quit on Hugh Freeze because look at the 38 points they put up the next week.
Yeah.
Right? Florida clearly had, they had won the week before, didn't care about this Kentucky team, and it showed. They got stomped, right? So I just don't know if I'm really buying Kentucky as, a surging team late. I think the schedule has done them some favors. And Vandy is still fighting for a playoff spot like we talked about on Monday, Seth. I think if they were out of it, fine. But I think Vandy has given up 72 points the last 2 weeks to 2 mediocre offenses in Texas and Auburn. So I like the over here in this game. I lean Vandy as well, laying the 9.5. But my favorite bet in this game is Vandy's team total over 31.5. They've scored against the good defenses as well this year. So I just think the offense for Vanderbilt is somewhat undeniable. The only team to really hold them was Missouri. They even put up a bunch of points on Texas in the comeback, right? That was that ended up being 34-31. So Vandy's defense is not in their best spot right now. So I do, the side is a little more wishy-washy to me, but Vandy's going to score. That's something I know here, and 31.5 I think is too low against a bottom feeder in the SEC like Kentucky. I think Vandy gets well over that total.
Yeah, Vandy has been great to bet on this season, 8-2 ATS, and as we mentioned earlier this week, that the Commies offense is just so efficient, right? They're 9th in scoring. It's not because they're high flying or anything like that. It's because they continue to churn out third downs every single time. Top 5 in the country in third down conversion rate, top 35 in the red zone. They're making the most of their opportunities, and I think they do it against Kentucky as well. What was that team total number you had?
31.5.
31.5. Yeah, I don't hate that. I would probably like it. 27.5 feels always better. But yeah, I don't hate that either. We also have seen the spread considerably shrink in Austin with the number 17 Texas Longhorns now favored by between 8.5 and 9.5 points over the 2-8 Arkansas Razorbacks. Arky, they have about a half dozen players banged up in the defense. Is too deep. Texas, they're at full strength to our knowledge. BP projections right now, they have Texas by nearly 11 points. So is this a time to go horns up on the burnt orange, Bogs?
I think you can, right? We're showing over 2 points of value towards the Longhorns. So I think that's fine. You know me. I have a hard time betting my own team because if they lose, it's like losing twice. So I don't really like that. I bet the over on Texas and Georgia, and Texas didn't do their part last week. But I'm going to just double down on that. We're going to go with an over bet here. Again, the total in this game is 57.5. I just think Arkansas, they stuck close in every game, right? Except for that Notre Dame thumping. That's the only game that they have not stuck close to their opponent in. I like the over. I liked it last week for Texas, as I said before, but Arky is 121st in scoring defense. They're 123rd in total defense, right? Texas defense has been awful over the last few weeks. They allowed 31 to Mississippi State, Vandy, and Georgia. They all scored at least 31 points on this Texas defense. And Arkansas can move the ball. They're 25th in scoring. They're 13th in total offense. They're taking chances. They're second in 10-plus yard plays. Taylon Green is also third. He has the third most turnover-worthy plays in the country, which could lead to short fields for Texas to score as well, which is why I do give them the benefit of the doubt. They will turn the ball over in this game most likely. And, the Longhorns are 12th in turnover margin. Arky is 130th. The Longhorns, I think, should win big if you want to bet against them because Arky's been sticking to their opponents. I understand that. Just not something I'm going to do. I like the over in this game. I think the Longhorns do the heavy lifting here, but I think Arky's going to be able to put up points too. They'll have some big plays. We've seen Texas be bit by big plays over the last few weeks as well. So, yeah, over in this game as well.
Man, I wish I could bet player props because I would be betting Ryan Wingo anytime touchdown, like my life depended on it. He's had 2 straight games of finding the end zone when he's been up and healthy. So I think if they can get him involved, if they can get a little more, we need some more efficiency out of the run game, right? Like Arch just really hasn't been that great on the ground this season, and neither is Wisner. And like they've kind of turned away from Baxter since he's been back. Maybe he's just not 100%, but
I think that's it. I also think you replaced 4 starters on the O line. It's just taking a little bit for these guys to gel. So
a little bit. It's the whole season, brother.
Well, I mean, it's going to take more than a season. But we've seen Texas offense improve since that second half in Mississippi State. So the line has gotten better, but it's not there yet. It's not all the way home. So
if you guys want a chance to score this signed Kyron Williams Los Angeles Rams helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, go ahead and download the free Betting Pros app, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe to our social media channels. We are at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on the Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you're going to receive, and we will announce a winner right here on the channel. So make sure you ring the bell so you can be alerted when we have new shows up and to claim your prize if you are that lucky winner. 16.5-point tickets for the 13th ranked Utah Utes over the 5-5 Kansas State Wildcats are all but gone right now. Kansas State's leading wide receiver, Jace Brown, is out. Dylan Edwards, of course, their star running back, he has left the program. The Utes are at full strength, and the BP projections right now, we have this between 15.5 and 16 points. But I'm pretty confident in Utah. I already laid the number here at 16.5. What say you, Bogs?
I'm fairly confident in Utah as well, and I'll have a ticket on this game for sure. I did like it better at 16.5, obviously. I'm going to say that, but Avery Johnson can show up at any time to make this game interesting. I just don't think that this is the time to expect that to happen after their best wide receiver goes out for the season, right? So that could happen. I just don't expect this to be the game. I think this is another Utah stomping. I mean, we are showing value towards K-State the bigger this line gets, too. We have it closer to 15.5, right? So we're already 2 points over. Even though I do think this is going to be a stomping, I'm becoming a little more leery on it because Dampier is still questionable. He's going to start this game, right? He's already said it. The comments that he made yesterday was, look, I'm going to go out there and live and die for my guys. And, you respect that. That's great.
Yeah, I love that.
If we have to go to Bird, Kansas State turns the ball over very well on defense. Very, very well. They're top 12. So I just want to wait till Saturday, and I want to see and make sure Dampier is playing and starting in this game. We've got weird reports. It's college. The reporting is way more spotty than it is in the NFL. So I just want to wait till Saturday to take this game. So that's what I'm going to end up doing here, making sure that Dampier is going to be the starting quarterback, and we don't have to go down to Bird because I know you like Bird.
I like him. He's
frisky,
very good.
Man.
he's
yeah, but he is, a team that can get turnovers, can take advantage of a guy that has to play a lot of the game for one of his first few times.
That's fair.
So I just want to wait and make 100% sure that Dampier is going to start this game. He is, but I just want to wait for it. That's all. So, and if we do get any wishy-washy news, it may help the line come back down under 17.5 to 16.5, which is better anyway. So I think if I do take this, I will be alting it down to that role anyway. But I do expect Utah to win going away. They've been doing it. They're playing their best football right now, and it shows.
Yeah, I would not want to be a Utah or a Kansas State defender in this one, Boggs, because I think this second-ranked Utah run game is just going to get after them. And I think by the end of it, being at elevation out there in the great state of Utah, there's going to be a lot of hands on the knees. Hands on the knees, baby. Yeah, I just think it's going to be that. And at the same time, I don't really trust Avery Johnson anywhere outside of Kansas State, and let alone here in one of the best environments in college football. So yeah, Ute up, baby. Ute up. I'm here for him. And let's keep it moving, where there's still time to get on the number 18 Michigan Wolverines as 13.5 points favorites over the 4-6 Maryland Terrapins. Injuries right now, this could be a huge part of this game. For Michigan, Justice Haynes, their running back, he's out the rest of the regular season. Won't be back for Ohio State next week either. But also their running back, Jordan Marshall, questionable now as well. Michigan's fullback was seen practicing today at the running back position, if that tells you anything. We also know that starting left tackle Evan Link and their tight end 2, Zach Marshall, questionable for the Wolverines. The Terps right now, they have missing a couple members of the defensive 2-deep and also on the offensive line in the depth. So a little banged up there too, but most of their starters should be good. The BP projections right now, we came in closer to 11 points. I made the mistake, Boggs. I had an early trigger finger in the week before we got the Marshall report. I'm maybe regretting laying this one, but I have a 13.5 ticket. How do you feel about that?
I feel like Michigan should overwhelm Maryland, right?
Even if Marshall's out?
Even with the running backs out, because, but I'll tell you this, I'm not betting this, right? And the reason is because, again, massive look-ahead spot for Michigan, and they can win without some of their players playing in this game because they're just so much better than Maryland, right? And, I think the real problem with Maryland is they're completely one-dimensional. They pass at a 65% clip. I think when you do that against a team with the great defensive line like Michigan, you're asking for trouble when you pass that much. So I just don't think that's a good matchup offensively for Maryland against Michigan. And it's really bad for Michigan against Maryland's offense or defense for Maryland's defense. They have not been stopping the run at all this year. This is still a run-heavy team, even down 2 backs. The O-line is what makes a difference, but you also mentioned the injuries along the offensive line for Michigan as well. So I'm going to stay away because I have no faith in Maryland. My thought process says the Wolverines, but they have screwed me coming and going both ways this year. So I'm not going to lay points in this game because this is also a massive look-ahead spot towards Ohio State for Michigan. So I want to get on board with Maryland. We're showing value towards Maryland. I don't trust this offense at all. So can't do it. I'm going to stay away. My lean when looking over everything would be Michigan and lay the points, but they've got me both sides this year, so I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I was kind of like you. I was the cooler for Michigan last year. I lost a ton of money on them betting against them when I would fade. I think I was probably 0-4 last year betting them. I've only bet on one Michigan game this season. It was the under in that Oklahoma game, and we had that come through for us. Yeah, so let's see. Can we make it 2-0? Can we get there, Sharon? We need you, baby. We need you, Sharon.
They're a better team at home. They should win this game. I just I have, or they're on the road here actually at Maryland, right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, God, this whole thing sucks.
I ain't worried about College Park, dude. College Park's they're the freaking JV of the Big Ten. Let's get real.
Yeah, it's not Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, that's that means for you too, Worm. He's probably not listening to this, but that's our resident Maryland fan here at the Fantasy Pro staff. Yeah,
he's our Terps guy.
Yeah. Better luck next time, buddy. The line has settled just under a field goal for win. The 7-3 Pitt Panthers travel to Bobby Dodd Stadium to square up with the number 15 Georgia Tech Yellowjackets in prime time. Pitt still has questionable their safety, Cruz Brookins. Tech is at full strength. The BP projections right now, we are right in line with the book. So I don't have a play in this one. Scotty, do you?
Yeah, points, man. Over. Like I said before, I would lean towards Georgia Tech at home in this game, but Tech's 2 highest point totals allowed have come in the last 2 weeks that they played.
Yeah, hate that.
Pitt has scored 31 plus in every non-Notre Dame game since Heitchel took over at quarterback. Pitt has been strong against the run, but awful against the pass. And we've seen Haynes King take over as a passer when needed. Pitt is one-dimensional as an extreme pass-heavy team, but Georgia Tech has been awful against the pass. They've been bad against the pass, and they've been terrible at putting pressure on quarterbacks. They're 89th in sacks per game, 113th in PFF pass rush grade. I just think we're going to have a lot of points from both of these teams in this game. Now, Pitt plays faster, 27th pace, 69th pace for Georgia Tech, but we've seen Haynes King put up some big totals here, and Georgia Tech is top 20 in 10-plus yard plays and big chunk plays. They're 17th with 161 this year. So I just think we're going to see both sides of this game be able to score and put up points. So I'm going to go with the over.
Okay. Yeah, I love Georgia Tech. I mean, I don't need to say that. I think everyone who listens to any episodes know
I don't think I said the total. It's 62.5, by the way.
Okay.
That is the total. So it's high.
Okay.
But I'm still – I think this is going to be like a 35-35 going to overtime type of game. So
it could be. The only reason I get any concern, and I don't have any issues with Georgia Tech getting to the point total they need to clear this, it's just, it feels like every year, Boggs, there's just this cycle with the Panthers where we start out the season, not much expectations, we slowly start getting a little bit momentum, and then it's like by the time we get to November, there's a little bit of hype, right? People in the city are starting to take a little bit of notice, right? The Penguins might not be getting out of the gate super hot. The Pirates are done and they're garbage anyways. And we get to this point that people start caring about Pitt football. And then every single year we get let down, dude. So
it's just a Notre Dame game. They're locked in these ACC
maybe,
games.
Dude, but last year it was SMU. Remember? I laid so much money on them last year against SMU, like in a very similar spot here.
SMU was a playoff team last year.
Georgia Tech's a playoff team, dog.
Yeah, but this Pitt is way better than last year's Pitt. I think just what they've done on offense since Heintzel took over, unless I just don't think Georgia Tech is going to be able to mirror Notre Dame's defense.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
So I think Pitt. There's a reason it's 2.5 points, man. This could easily be a swing one way or the other.
It could be. Yeah, I'm just saying the letdown for Pitt is coming. Outside of the Kenny Pickett year, this is this is usually how it goes.
Let's do it in overtime when it's 35-35.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Sounds good to me. One more game for you here, and it's the number 11 BYU Cougars. They still stand as 2.5-point road favorites against the 7-3 Cincinnati Bearcats. BYU's flanker wide receiver Cody Hagan, their RB2 Sion Moa, and some two deep cornerbacks, all questionable coming in. Cincy, right now, according to the reports coming in, expected to actually get back Evan Pryor, their talented running back. Also, their flanker wide receiver, Caleb Goody. He is questionable. BP projections, we like BYU by 3.5, so I'll gladly take them on the 2.5 in this spot. Is this a little squad ride to round us out here, Boggs?
Yes, absolutely. I think Cincy is still in this, right? Especially with Pryor back.
Yeah,
but
better. How
can we pick against BYU at this point? Once again, the time of possession for Cincy being dead last, BYU being 15th.
Yeah.
It's hard to bet against that, dude. I mean, I just think that Cincy, maybe they're able to run here, but I think the bigger problem is stopping BYU's run game. So I think they're going to run down Cincy's throat. They're going to control the clock. And once BYU gets that lead, they're going to be able to force the Bearcats to throw, and they're going to be able to pin their ears back and get after Sorsby. Cincy is first in sacks allowed, but remember, their time of possession is also dead last. So we're just talking about straight up numbers. In pass block grade, they're 60th, right? BYU is kind of similar in pass rush. They're 26th in sacks, 69th in pass rush grade, but they're still 13th in scoring defense with a much harder strength of schedule than what Cincy has had so far. So I think BYU gets a lead. I think they exhaust the Cincy defense, and I think they start to impose their will in the second half. So I like the Cougars here in the battle of cats or Bearcats or whatever we're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, give me BYU again. I'm going to lay the points.
I think as the season has gone on, the Big 12 has become a lot more predictable than I think some of these other conferences a little bit. It's like you have that top shelf of Texas Tech, and then you got BYU, you got Utah, and then since he's in that third shelf, right, with the Iowa States, the TCUs of the world, and I think that's right where they belong, and I think BYU is going to prove that on Saturday. So looking forward to that one.
The Big 12 was the hardest to figure out for the first 6 weeks, but now I think it's pretty good.
I agree. Boggs, let's get out of here on best bets. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, what do you have for us this week? What is the best bet for Mr. Scott Bogman in week 13 of the season? Only 2 weeks left, folks, of the Reggie. What do we got?
I'm going to give you 2.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go with this Vandy over 31.5. I'm just not buying into Kentucky and then playing up. I think that's the schedule. I think 2 teams quit. I think Texas isn't that good. We talked about that. Vandy over 31.5. I really like. And then we're just going to go back to the well on North Texas over 36.5 at Rice, right?
Okay.
Like, they just keep putting up massive amount of points. So Rice is okay on defense. Better on defense than offense, maybe. But I don't think they're going to be – I don't think anything is stopping North Texas right now. So this offense is putting up a ton of points. If they are the representative, they'll probably get crushed, I think, by a team that is way more physical. But right now, they're doing it both in the run and the pass game, and they're just stacking points. So give me North Texas over 36.5 at Rice.
That's so funny that you went with that, because one of my favorite bets that I almost did for this is North Texas Rice over 55.5 because I'm with you on everything you're saying about North Texas. The one thing I'll say, Rice actually a top 5 rushing team right now per game. And when you take that into account, they're going up against North Texas. Their one weak spot on defense is really against the run. They're outside the top 100 in rushing defense. So I think Rice is also going to be able to put up some points in this one. So I'm just taking the over in general and hoping for all the points. But I don't hate the number just for North Texas as well. I was also considering that. So
the only reason I didn't do that is because I did it against Navy. And yes, the running defense is kind of mediocre for North Texas, but the tackling is still best in the country. The tackle rate is still number 1. So I considered that. I think that's another good bet because I think North Texas scores 45 anyway. So as long as we just get 2 touchdowns from Rice, I think we're okay. But I don't know if we're getting it.
Okay. So. Yeah, I feel you there. For my best bet, I got to do it. I got to fade the home team. Nebraska plus 10.5. against Penn State, and I'm also going with the money line sprinkle plus 285. I don't think in all the years of my college football betting career, I don't think I've ever seen a line that made less sense than this one. I don't get how Penn State, who is 3-7 ATS, 5-6 straight up, their only wins, Boggs, have come against G5 opponents and also Michigan State. So I don't understand how they're laying 10.5 in this spot. Right now, it feels like it's Katron Allen in the backfield, and they're going to Devonta Ross as much as they can out wide. And that's pretty much the entire offense here.
Quarterback weather in that game? Or is that clear?
I think it's as of earlier this week, because I actually, earlier in the day, I need to put up my my new internet satellite. So we are looking good earlier in the week. It might be a little bit of rain here and there, but we're at least going to be warmer than we have been up here in PA. So at least probably in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, because I think the key for Penn State is throwing the ball downfield. Now, I'll say Nebraska has been great in pass defense anyway, so that may not be the way to beat Nebraska. But let's see. Yeah, very clear. Cold for me. 40, 37, 36, 35.
That's a nice warm day up here right now, buddy.
No wind at all. That wind is what concerns me.
Yeah.
So no wind at all. So if Penn State can sling that rock downfield it's harder against Nebraska than it is most teams. So I understand that you've watched more Penn State than anybody. I do wonder if you're being a self-hating Penn State fan a little bit for this one.
The key to this matchup for me is Ethan Grunkemeyer, our new quarterback. He's averaging just under 150 passing yards per game. He has 4 starts, 3 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He did look better last week against Michigan State, but everyone really does. And for me, it's Nebraska's passing defense. They're the 3rd best in the country. I don't think they're going to be able to open it up here. And if I'm John Butler, I'm stacking the freaking box, man. I'm stacking the box. I'm playing man and saying, Ross, Pena, go beat me, because they haven't beat many people this year. So I'm saying, hey, I'm coming right at Katron Allen, right down the pipe, and I need someone to stop me. And I just don't think they can. Like, dude, like, say what you want about Nebraska. Are they a great team? No. But at the same time, they've beaten Northwestern. They've beaten UCLA, 2 teams Penn State lost to. And also, they beat Cincy back in week 1, which is a pretty good win for them. They're better in total defense. They're better in total offense, better in turnover margin. Matt Roll this season, 2-0 as a dog. Also, 1-0 as a road dog. So, 10-plus points for Nebraska is just a gift, I think, from the gambling gods. And even plus 285 on the money line feels like a great deal.
It is Latif. I was looking up his name. I forgot his name because Rayola's out for the year. Mm-hmm. So it is the backup quarterback here.
I'm
on
okay.
The road.
I'm okay with that.
It is at Penn State. I'm not messing that up.
Yeah, we're in Happy Valley.
Okay. All right.
I don't know, man. Raiola never really impressed. He hasn't proved to be the chosen one that
he was not good. Yeah. You're right about that for sure. So, look, you know Penn State better than me, so I'll ride with you on this one.
I appreciate that. Here we go, boys. I hate to do it, but yeah, it's my biggest bet of the season since I think week 2 when I was on Notre Dame. So,
ooh, okay, let's go.
Yes, we'll see what plays out there. That is going to do it though for us on this episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. Still to come later this week and every week is Bogs Best Bets and Player Props. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite Week 12 picks. We want to hear from you. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.